on this computer just in case anything of magic is said on here that we want to keep forever. All right. So I didn't really prepare any slides or anything like that, but I did have a couple things that I wanted to talk about. And then I figured we could just kind of open it up and everybody can chat, ask questions, especially with it being like a smaller group like this. So, talk about month goals, end of year goals, that sort of thing. We can definitely go there with this many people. So what I want to talk about is, it's actually a topic that, I started talking to Ryan and then he brought it up that he thought that it was kind of like one of my superpowers. And I think that one of my superpowers is that I am able to pivot really quickly. So I realize when something isn't working and I switch it up and I figure out something different to make it work for me. And I think that a lot of times in this business specifically, we can get really, really stuck in the habit of doing something a very specific way. And this business moves so fast and social media moves so fast. I shouldn't say this business moves so fast. We definitely have some changes and things that we, tweak along the way based on technology, like when we moved from DVDs to BOD and stuff like that. But the basis of this business always stays the same, which is invite, do personal development, show it, be proof the product works, and recognize people, right? So that stuff always stays really the same. And that's why we say that this business is so simple, because at the truth of it, at its core, it really is. But everything that we do and we use to grow our business has to do mostly with social media. And I know that we've had a chat before and I've shared a video with you guys where Danielle was talking about 10 different ways that you can go ahead and you can grow your business and grow, in live, like out in the live world, like in person, right? Like how you can find people that way. But I would say 99.9% of the work that we do is social, which when I used to work in social media and SEO, it changes like daily. By the time that you're posting something on a blog post about how to use something, the algorithm's already changed, or they've changed like some piece of the technology. And so what you describe to somebody isn't even set up the same way. Like the settings are in a different area of the page. And, it's constantly moving. And so we're business owners and we need to realize that, and we need to look at our businesses and we need to say, what's working for me and what is not working for me. And so by doing so, when I looked at things the other day, I was like, back in the day, and of course I've changed things since then, but back in the day, like 2013, 2014, I could put a post up on Facebook and get like hundreds of likes. And from those hundreds of likes on my little call to action post, I could get, a few people signed up into a group. Times change, right? That doesn't really happen anymore. And on top of that, I noticed that my other posts that were seemingly non-existent about Beachbody, like that I wasn't really talking about joining a group or things like that. It wasn't really a call to action post. It even seemed like the action on those had gone down quite a bit. And so there was a while there where I was like, well, maybe it's because, I've moved so much to Instagram and I'm paying attention so much over there that like Facebook just isn't the same anymore. And then, you go back and forth, and there was this time period where like nobody wanted to be on Facebook because it was like a huge political, judgment zone where everybody was just posting political crap. And so nobody was there. So your audience kind of left, and Instagram was like a happy little fun place. But as Instagram becomes more and more, filled with quote unquote influencers and all of that stuff, I have noticed a change back over on Facebook of people actually truly paying attention to your posts and being interested. But with that, I also had to try different things because, like I said, my Facebook posts weren't getting as many likes. So what I did is I started listening to personal development. I started thinking about the things that are going on in my life right now that I haven't been sharing, that I haven't been talking about. I started thinking about how we've touted from the beginning, like you have to be your authentic self and you have to share your story and whatever, and breadcrumb that out there all the time. And I started thinking about the fact that like, okay, when I first started coaching, I used to talk about that all the time, but I stopped because I felt like, everybody's heard it, right? And so like I started thinking about all of those things. And then I started thinking about this cute little book that we used to read called Jab, 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 Right Hook. And here's the thing, you guys, it still freaking works. It still works. So I tried it out. I took all of those tips. I took all of those things that were going on and I got real. And I got real and raw and vulnerable, in the words of like Brene Brown. And I started putting my shit out there. And I started thinking about who else like me right now is feeling this way that I could help, right? Like I'm in so much transition. I used to love Christmas. Now I really don't like it. It's not one of my favorite times of year. It's actually, to me, I find it super depressing, stressful, and over the top. And I can't wait for it to be done and move on to 2020. And I'm sorry that that's so bah humbug for you guys. You're probably like, what a wench. But that's just how I feel. Like I can't wait for it to be over. And starting to compare, your journey and yourself to other people and where they're at, and all those little minute details that go into that, right? And like even health things, like, or fitness things about yourself that make you you. Like for instance, sorry if I'm calling you out, Meg and Katie, but like you guys have thyroid issues, right? So like that's something that like I don't think you're hiding it, so I'm not really calling you out, but like it's something that like you can talk about within your story, within your journey, that potentially other people could relate to. Or just having had a baby, Shannon and Katie, or being pregnant, Kaylin, or all of these things that we all have going on. I mean, Mariah does a great job, and that's why she was asked to be on the National Wake Up Call, just talking about Tan and his issues. So like when we start putting ourselves out there, it seems really scary, but again, it still works. And so when you do that, people relate to it, and all of a sudden you get more eyes on your stuff. And when you take a peek, so from this call, what I want everybody to do is I want you to go and audit your social media. I even went on my Instagram and I was like, oh my God, way too many before and afters in a row. Like like I looked at that page and I was like, God, like, where are you? This is just like beach body, beach body, beach body, beach body, beach body. No wonder this isn't working for you. And you guys, I'm 6 years into this business. So I'm saying this to you because you have to like self criticize and take a peek at yourself every so often, especially if things are seeming a little hard for you. Right now is not a hard time of year. Right now is an easy time of year. There's a lot of people that need you. Like I literally just had this girl write to me and go, I don't even know you, but for some reason I trust you. Will you meet me at the coffee shop on Thursday and we can talk because I need to get fucking something going. And I was like, okay. So we're meeting on Thursday, right? Like, so there's things like that where I've had actually like 4 or 5 people just in the last few days start reaching out to me because of how I've been posting, because of how I've been showing up on social media. And that feels really freaking good. And that feels really good when you can go in and you can be like, I can help you and I can talk to you about this. Or be a human being. And when you see a post from somebody else talking about how they're in the midst of a depression, I could friggin' relate. Messaged the girl because she said she didn't get out of bed till noon today. And then when she did finally get up, it was just to move to the couch. And then she watched TV all day and distracted herself. She's somebody who's very much like me. This person is actually a yogi. She runs a yoga center and has classes. She works in health and wellness, and she's out there putting that out there. And I was like, oh, she just spoke to me, right? So like when we do that, it might be scary, but it's literally talking to your audience and how you can help them. And if you listen to the National Wake Up Call this morning, she actually talked a little bit about that as well. Like her posts address what people need and how she was and how she is and what she's thinking. And because of that, that really helps. So I want you, whole point, that was a really long ramble, but I want you to go and look at your Facebook page. I want you to look at it, and I want you to look at your last 5 to 10 stories. And I want you to tell me how many times it was about Beachbody and fitness and asking somebody to join a group or showing a before and after photo or nutrition, and how many times it was just asking or just talking about you internally. I want you to do it right now. Like I want you to go count right now while we're on here. Everybody's like, oh my God, action, just making me do something. It's going to be an interactive call. Katie, are you breastfeeding, or can you show me that baby? Feeding. Rude. He's like, don't interrupt my snacks for that wench. We got stuff to do over here, Bob. All right, type it in the chat, guys, when you go and look. This shouldn't take a super long time. You could almost tell just by looking at your photos. It's like a reminder. Katie, 7 about me, 8th post back about Beachbody. Cool. Why is oops? Because it's like 7 to 1 ratio instead of like a 3 or 4 to. Yeah, gotcha. Jab, 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 hook. Oh my God, you guys, if you don't think I'm funny. Ryan, will you take the phone and charge it somewhere else? It like does not want to charge right here. Thank you. Really annoying me. Um, Mariah, mine kind of go in phases. All weekend it was friends coaching. Today was funny and the boys. Christmas concert. It's been like 3 days since a fitness call to action post. Okay. I'm not saying it can't have anything to do with Beachbody, because Mariah, I will tell you, like your recent posts that I've even seen of you, like sharing results and stuff have been more about talking about like your relationship with Matt, or talking about, you know, the old you and things like that, and sharing a little bit more deeply rather than just being like, here's a before and after, join my group kind of post. Kaylin, stories from today, Beachbody nutrition, eat about me and my kiddos. Breadcrumb in every couple posts, call to action every 5 to 6. Okay. Erica, on Facebook page, 3 about me, my story, 2 fluff, 2 Beachbody. I need to work on this. Okay. Emma, I'm like in every other post, I think. Stories are a mix of both. Okay. Emma, is that because you're nervous to share more about your own self? Or I know you were telling me in a private message at one point that like you overthink your posts. So is that why you think that? I suck at sharing about myself. Okay. Okay. Shaylee, 7 about me, Beachbody. Stories, a lot of both today. Jessica, stories, 5 about me, daily quote or output of the day, and nutrition. Okay. Okay. Stories are definitely a mix, and I would say every 5 to 6 posts are about Beachbody or working out. Okay. 8th is Beachbody, you mean. All right. Okay. So what I see here is that we've got like a mix of things going on, right? Like we have some people who are scared to talk about Beachbody, so they're not talking about it enough and posting way too much about their own stuff. And that's not way too much about your own stuff. Second, when you're posting, and I guess this should be a caveat as well, when you're posting about Beachbody, is it an invite? Because I'm talking jab, 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 right hook, not just I did my workout today, right? So an invite post. So making sure too that it's 3 to 4 posts about your lifestyle, inner thoughts, things of value, things that, you know, you can relate with other people, things happening in your life, that sort of thing. And then that other one, you know, more of like a call to action invite sort of post. And the post that you're doing, again, when I say not like Beachbody directly, like my post that I just put up tonight was about body image basically, and mental health. But at the end I did say something about inviting them, right? So it is a call to action post, but at the same time I kind of mixed in that very vulnerable and authentic part of it as well. So if it's a healthy mix like that, I think it's okay to kind of be talking about it all the time. It's just not okay to like not talk about it ever, or to make every single post a Beachbody invite. So my other point is, when you do this, so when you're auditing yourself and you're looking at these posts and you're asking yourself how authentic you're actually getting, it's really important, you know, to ask yourself that. Are you putting yourself out there in a way that's going to share, like that's going to help the person you were before you started up with this? So Emma, I'm going to say one of the biggest ways to get over yourself is to realize that you are being selfish by not talking about your journey, because there's somebody out there who needs you right now, and they don't know that you actually can help them and that you can relate to them because you've been in their shoes or standing where they're standing, or have had those similar thoughts and feelings. So you want to make sure that you're doing that. Being vulnerable, you guys, isn't, you know, a weakness. It's actually being extremely courageous. And by being extremely courageous and putting yourself out there, that's only going to be received in a positive light. And in fact, when you're doing that, the stuff that you're posting is going to be seen much more as something that is of value, that can help somebody, than you just trying to make a buck off somebody, right? So let's all try to think about those things. And I even put it on my to-do list today of not just auditing my stuff, but also breaking down how I'm feeling in different ways, and how that relates to what I'm doing currently, or how this can help me move forward, right? Like, because like my good friend Raina said, this is the solution to everything. You have an issue, you're sitting on the friggin' solution. So if this is the solution to everything, what are the issues that I'm having currently? Because sometimes it's not even about attracting the person you were before. It's about attracting who you are right now, right? So keep that in mind too. All right. So that's what I had about posting and just making sure, because I have seen my likes go up a lot, you guys. I've started seeing like 40, 50, 80, 100 likes on posts, whereas before it was like 3, 5, that sort of thing. The other thing, and then we can jump into any questions or we can just talk about how things are going, is Instagram. So I also, one of the things that I do is I like to take a little bit of time, and I try to do it once a month, but sometimes I miss that. But then I set myself up for like Google Alerts and stuff like that. But I try to like set myself up to learn what's happening with Instagram and what's going on with social media so I can stay on top of it, because that's my job. With Instagram, a few things that I've learned is this: the bigger influencers, like the real big guys, they're posting in the feed like once a week these days. So that's really, really good news for people who are mid range or mini influencers, because that means that your stuff is more likely to be seen in the thread, right? So that means your actual, Instagram feed, you're more likely to be seen by your followers because you're actually going to pop up there. However, how many of us have been like, oh, these days you can post like your feed like twice a week and like yada, yada, yada. Yeah, great. You don't have 1 million followers. You can't do that. You need to be posting to your Instagram 2 to 3 times a day. 2 to 3 times a day. Going back old school, y'all. And also your stories. I'm guilty of it too. I'm not guilty of not being consistent. I'm always on there consistently, but I am guilty of sharing basically all my health and fitness stuff and like that pattern, and not enough of like my actual life or like joking with Ryan or like going places and doing that sort of thing. So I've been trying to get better at that, and even sharing behind things, right? So like I've put things on there like, don't just throw up your video or your post about your energize, right? Once a week, start talking about like, you guys see me doing this every day. Here's what it actually freaking does for me, right? So like I have had multiple people start messaging me about my celery juice. So today I went live and I talked about celery juice for a little bit and why I'm doing that. Because I've had people be like, well, how much celery do you use? And why are you actually doing it? And I see you do this every day. Like, do you really do it every day? And how much are you supposed to drink? And can I mix it this way? And, I don't really like the flavor. Can I make it in advance? Like, these are all questions that they have. And because I've been doing it and because I've been researching it and I read my celery juice book and all of that stuff, I have the answers. So I am a source of value to them. So I can go out there and I can talk about the things that it's helping me with, how you're supposed to make it, when you're supposed to drink it, how much you need to drink, how you can go find like cheaper bundles of celery. Do you guys know that celery, this is a side note, did you know, and this is probably something I should share on Instagram too, did you know that celery in California right now is $10 a freaking bunch? Because the celery juice craze is so freaking high that they've jacked up the price of celery because they're running out of celery in freaking grocery stores. Ridiculous. So buy your celery now, or don't. Leave it there for me to go buy. Put it in my freezer or something. I wonder if I can do that or if it ruins it. I don't know. But anyways, we'll start thinking about that. The other thing, right? When I was packing to come here, packed my plants. Look at, they're all fucking dead. They all died. Who knew that being in the cold for one night kills your plants? Like dead. Like they don't come back. They never live again. Dead. That's something I talked about on Instagram the other day. Might not seem like that big of a deal, but people start giving me advice on how to get my plants back to life. And then I'm connecting with other people who are also interested in plants, right? And like that sort of thing. Like if you have a good wine, talk about the wine and what wine it was, like Meg, you picked up that Valpolicella at Trader Joe's the other day. I went and bought 2 more bottles, by the way. It was so good. And like, and I still haven't gone on and talked about how like Valpolicella is like one of my favorite wines and most people have never even heard of it. And it's super freaking cheap and you can buy it like for like $11 and it tastes like a $50 bottle of wine. It's amazing. That's stuff that I should be sharing. These are things that like I share. I did share today too, like at the movie theater, that I went to the movies in the middle of the day and that was great. And that I was drinking a soda water instead of, Pepsi and, popcorn. Like these are all things that we can share on a daily basis, not like just those things, but you hear my point. You can go to Instagram and you can share all sorts of things that have to do with your life. If you have kiddos, you can share stuff that's going on with them. Maybe you have a toddler and they said something really funny, or maybe you're going through pregnancy and you feel like shit, like commiserate with your audience every day. Like maybe you, like whatever it is that's going on in your life, your inner thoughts, you guys, are important. Those inner thoughts that you're having, and if they're negative, they're even more important to share because other people are having them too. And it's not about you being like, less than or anything like that. If you have those thoughts, it's sharing that you have them too, and this is what you're doing to get out of it. And that's going to help somebody else. Inner thoughts, things you've read, adding value on a daily basis, food, recipes, nutrition, things like that you're doing, plans that you're making, things that you want in the future. Like you can even talk about that, visions, goals, those sorts of things. If you're sharing, like you're journaling, if you're reading or whatever, that's amazing. These are all things that we can share aside from the stuff that every other Beachbody coach can share. And so that's what makes you different. And so if you're looking at your IG stories and you're saying, I'm great at staying consistent, so people do know I'm working out and they do know I'm being proof the product works and they do know that this works because I'm seeing results, but they know nothing else about me. So they have no idea if I'm somebody that they'd be friends with, relate to, trust, etc. You need to take a look at that. So those are the two pieces that you need to do, and you need to kind of audit that. What was the other piece of Instagram that I wanted to share with you guys? Oh, hashtags are not dead. I know so many people are like, oh, they used to tell you to use hashtags. Nobody gives a shit about hashtags anymore. Nobody searches on hashtags anymore. And I call bullshit because there's a new report that just came out and it said that if you put hashtags, and if you just do this experiment on your own, which I have on my own feed, if I put one up without hashtags, that bitch gets like nothing. If I put one up with hashtags, it gets like 100 likes. So hashtags are important. And again, with the whole pivoting thing, if you continue to use the same stack of hashtags over and over and over and over again, chances are they are stale AF. And you need to go and do a little research and start searching for some hashtags that have to do with you. My tip, go ask somebody or sit there and brainstorm as many possible things about you that you can do, right? So I sat there with Nicole and I sat there with Ryan and her kids, Nicole's kids. And I was like, all right, tell me about me. And they literally just started listing shit off. And I just started writing it down. And then stuff that I know about myself. And I started writing it down. And then stuff I knew about my past, right? Like these are all things about me that I can go and search for hashtags on. And guys, this is a time consuming thing. This isn't like, oh, great, got 20 hashtags, let's go. No, freaking time consuming. Takes some work, but it's worth it. Because then you go and you say, okay, dog mom, right? Like if I use the hashtag dog mom, it has millions of hits a day, of uses a day. If I go and I click on that and I go through it, I can see many of those people are coaches or dog accounts. Neither one of those two things are my brand or who I'm looking for, right? So I need to tweak that. Okay, so how can I relate to other dog moms, other dog owners out there, but that are like me? So you start playing with the different ones and they'll bring up some suggestions for you. So you start playing with them, click on them, from those other suggestions come, from those other suggestions come. You dig a little deeper, you look at who's looking at that, you look at who's using that, you guys, and that's how you find your hashtags. And then what you do is you put them all in a cluster, right? So the mix, right? So loves tequila, dog mom, skier, loves sleeping, coffee addict, wino, whatever it is. Like I'm just looking around the house, like like whatever, plant lady, doesn't matter. You can start thinking of all those things about yourself and put them in a cluster so that when people start searching or using that hashtag, they're going to find you. And you also want to go to those hashtags and you want to start liking and commenting on other people's stuff. You don't have to follow them, just like and comment on their stuff. And that's going to help you build and grow your audience too. And also, you guys, just like we do with Facebook, and you should still be doing this, go and friend people every single day and do the same thing with Instagram. Go to your Instagram followers, go look at who's following them, start following them. You know what I mean? Like start growing that, start doing it in all areas, because the worst thing ever is if you've got like a really small following and you're like, well, reached out to all 100 people I know. First of all, I call bullshit on that. Everybody knows more than 100 people. Like if I told you right now, write down every single person you've ever met in your life. And P.S. weird fact, I used to do this for fun when I was in college. I would write down every single person that I've ever known. I'd be like, who else can I think of? Who else can I think of? Who else can I think of? Because I was like, if I was going to throw like a really big wedding someday and invite every single human I've ever met, I wonder how many people that would be. What a freak. I'm a freak. So I used to do that. So I'm telling you, you know more than 100. So that's what I had. Pivoting, looking at your business, seeing what's working, what's not, figuring things out. Everything is figure outable. Doing a little research, putting a little time in so that effort that you're doing is actually coming back with some reward. putting up a post that's actually going to give you traction rather than just putting up a piece of crap so that you can say that you did it. Okay, these are the things that we need to do in order to push ourselves forward. So that's what I have for you tonight. And actually, that did take 30 minutes, but I'm open for questions. And I don't know what else is being said in here. Cool. Brene Brown, The Call to Courage is on Netflix. Oh, it's so good too. Like I could literally watch it over and over and over and over again. And you guys, she's really easy to listen to on audio too. I pretty much recommend any of her books, but The Power and Vulnerability, it's super quick and it's really good too. What was the other one, Meg, that you and I were listening to that was on leadership by her? That was also really good. Braving the Wildness. Yes. Wilderness. Yes. You did write wildness. Wildness. Wild thing. That's crazy. I eat celery and PB as a snack every day. Emma, you don't get the benefits by eating the celery. I know it's really weird, but in the celery juice, there's these things called sodium cluster salts that go into your body and they collect all the freaking metals and shit that are in your liver and all that crap, and they like detox your gut and your liver and all these things. Anyways, the people in the last couple of weeks said they found me by the hashtags I used while I was pregnant. Yes, because how many people out there now are 30 weeks, 31 weeks, whatever, and they're like looking for advice or like what other mamas looked like even during that time and stuff like that, right? And now they've got that to go back to and they can be like, holy shit, this bitch worked out at that time. All right, I'm messaging her. Jessica, my post from a couple weeks ago had a reach of 556 and hashtags counted for 310 of those. Yes, that's huge. In the ballpark, how many people? Shaylee, I don't know what that question is. Braving the Wilderness. Katie, how many different clusters or hashtags do you have and how do you rotate them on your posts? Yeah. So I have, hold on. I have probably 6 or 7 different clusters. And I will show you, so that's like page 1 of them, page 2 of them, page 3 of them. And then as I started putting them in in clusters and started using them on posts, I realized that there were things that I was missing or that I would want to put on a specific post. So I did actually start looking them up then too, but then started saving them. But like, you can just see that like I've got, you know, a lot of dog mom stuff, brown hair girl, or like, you know, dimensional brunette, like hate veggies, like that's part of my thing. Like this stuff's all like workout stuff. Then you've got all like bar active stuff, workout ideas, tips, etc. I even put stuff on here for people who I want to attract. So like postpartum journey, that sort of thing, couples who work out. You know, I've got things like Auntie Life is the Best Life, or like Auntie Duty, things about my zodiac sign. So proud Leo, like all that jazz. I'm a wife, so there's things about that. What else? We've got things on there like tequila made me do it. Like I like to go to brunch, so brunch vibes, those sorts of things. A foodie, you know, brunch porn. Cheers to the weekend. Saturday night vibes. Mondays. You know, work vibes. My office today. Happy morning. You know, things about like not liking to wake up early. Then I've got some other things like about Maine, like, or about, you know, like even snow or the time of year, like the like whether it's fall or winter or whatever. Loves the sun, you know, sunshine, things like that. Things about coffee, things about like being a movie quoter. My Enneagram. I know there's a lot of people who start searching on shit like about people who have their Enneagram, so they want to see what they're doing. Grace Not Perfection, things like that are kind of like motivational quotes, meditation stuff, things about being 30 something, celery juice benefits, things that have to do with like health conditions of mine, like psoriasis or chronic fatigue or gut health, things like that. Internet friends, things like squat up stuff, you know, that. Fragrances I even like Le Labo and Santal, My Scent, things about being spiritual, the universe, gratitude, all of those sorts of things, and then more. So you can see that like within those, I know you can't really see because I didn't like put it there forever, but within those, within each category of those, like I just wrote down any of the ones that would work for me in terms of like how many hashtags are being used with it. And so like I would have like 10 to 15 in each one of those categories that I just said, but I don't put them You know, like if I put up a photo of George, I'm not going to use all of the dog ones. I'm going to use all of, like, I'm going to take a mix. I'm going to take one from like each category and throw it together. And then I'll take one from another one and I'll throw those together. And then I'll take another one and I'll throw those together. And then I think you can actually look at like which hashtags of yours are being viewed the most. And I'm not exactly sure how to do that, but I think you can. And if you can, then you can see which ones like would be better off clustering. So it's like, it's kind of like a work in progress at all times. And, you know, I tried to cluster the other day and I was like, yeah, this is getting shit for like views. So like, it's just about like messing around with it. But if you find a good one, like you can stick with it for a little bit, as long as it's just a mixture of like who you are as a human. How many people have you ever known? It was like up in like the thousands. But you have to think about it. Like I like, you know, I moved a lot as a kid. So like I started in Augusta, then Scarborough, then Naples, then down to Portland. Then I went to Ithaca for school and then like workplaces and things like that. Like if you start thinking about that stuff, you're like, holy shit, I know a lot of people. And then Beachbody, you know a lot of people. But here's a different question. When I first started coaching, I had 777 friends on Facebook, and every single one of those humans I had met at one point, and my thing was set to private. So I had to unset it from private, and I had to go out there and I had to start friending more people and gaining that audience. But I will tell you, by the time that I went 6-star within the first, I know I say the year, but like I literally went 5-star in 6 months. So within that year, I mean, I probably didn't have more than 1,000 friends on Facebook, and I was not using Instagram. So like, you know, we want to build our audience for the future, but in order to get where you want to, like right this second, you don't have to have a gigantic following. What you have to have is good, authentic content. What you have to do is start inviting the people that you do have. And what you have to do is be consistent and show up for yourself and your business. And I loved this line from the National Wake Up Call this morning. She said, when my fitness is on fire, my business is on fire. And you guys, like, that is the truth. That is the truth. That is the truth. And I was also listening to the Mindset Mentor on Spotify. He's freaking awesome. Most of his podcasts are 15 minutes, you guys. Probably if you have like a commute to work or school or something like that, you could listen to it. But he was talking about confidence. And he was talking about how confidence is something that we're all born with. Like if you think about it as a baby, like you don't give a shit what anybody thinks. Like as a toddler, you run around naked, you make fun of things, you say things, you do whatever you want without a care in the world. You will scream in public, you will shit yourself, like you don't care, right? Like you just don't care. And unfortunately, as human beings in a social society, we breed that out of ourselves. We breed that confidence out of ourselves. We start to care. We start to worry. We start to gain those fears about the world and everything around us. And so that confidence leaves us. And we look at other people and we're like, oh, that person's so confident. Wish I had that. Or I wish I could like, just, jump on a stage and speak like that person. Or I wish that I could, create a 6-figure business like that person. Or I wish that I could do this or the other thing. And the thing is that confidence comes from action. It comes from small, teeny, tiny wins. And the easiest win that you guys can start getting in this business is with your own health and fitness. If you start thinking about the fact that your paycheck is tied to your nutrition, is tied to your fitness level, right? Then that cookie or that extra glass of wine or that whatever that does not fit your containers at the moment isn't really quite worth it, is it? When you still can have a really fun time and a very healthy lifestyle staying on plan. And with that, you grow your business. With that, you're able to help more people. With that, you have more mental clarity. You have more confidence. You feel better. You have more energy. And that all builds belief, and that trickles out to every single person around you to the point where they don't care what you have to offer. They just know that like they want what you're doing. And that is how I grew my business in the very beginning of this. It was 100% through belief in this product. So I just didn't care and I screamed it from the rooftops, whatever I was doing, I didn't care. And everybody else feeling that energy feed off of me and just wanting part of it. And I will tell you, there was like a second round of that in 2017 when we were going into 2018, I believe, is when 80-Day Obsession dropped. And when that happened, our team saw my results, which motivated them. And they realized, oh, wait, like I can get results like that because she just got results like that. That's exactly how this business works, right? And so then everybody jumped in, and then all their people started seeing them get results. And that's how many people went from diamond to 5-star, diamond to 2-star, diamond to 3-star, whatever it was, or open new CBCs and all of that stuff. And it was because they were putting their fitness first. And when you do that, people don't care about the price tag, you guys. They just look at you and they're like, oh, she did it, I can do it. That's it. You stop getting objections. You stop getting people going, oh, what should I do? You go, no, you want this big giant pack, the mega pack. You want all of it. You want to do it right now. And they're like, okay, I'll do whatever you're doing because it's working. Right? So like putting your fitness first, sharing it authentically, vulnerably, sharing it, not just, put up a post about fitness, but like put up a post and make it so that your time you're putting in there is worth it. Look at things that are working for you and that are not working for you. That could even go back to your invites, you guys. If you're sending invites every single day and nobody's responding to them, change your fucking invite. Like, you know what I mean? Change your invite. Or if you're sitting down at your computer every single day and you're saying to yourself, this is hard, it's December, nobody wants to sign up to me, I'm going to get the money objection because it's Christmas and everybody's already spent all their money and oh my God. No! People are in a habit right now of spending money. They are in a habit of spending money. It's like, what the fuck else? 150 more? Whatever. Out the door. Who cares? Like, don't even know what I just got. Or I love this line that actually I got from Raina today, which was, shit, my phone over there? Wait, I can look at it right here. No, I can't. It's on Insta. Will you just look at what line Raina gave me on Instagram today? I loved that it was something like, who can we send the link to that will give it to you for your Christmas present? It was something like that. Yep, Insta. And that's Raina. Anyways, it was something of that nature. And you know, and so people are going to respond to you how you're thinking before you even sit down. So if you sit down and that's your attitude, that's the response you're going to get from people. But if you sit down and you're like, dude, this is a great time to be reaching out. I love that I can watch Bad Moms Christmas while I'm like popping around on my computer having good conversations with good people, and that I can still help people and work while like just chilling at my house and enjoying my day. Like that is something like I will take that any day of the week, right? So it's all about your mindset. And so you need to pivot at all times. That's the word of the day, pivot. If your social isn't working, audit it. If your messages aren't working, audit it. If your mindset isn't working, audit it. If you're not showing up for yourself, pivot and change it. So pivot, yes, like the friends pivot. I want you to hear, you know, them in your head constantly and just pivot every time you need to pivot. What did Katie say? My last post reached 669 people and 15 were from hashtags. I'll guess it's time to switch them up. Grant Cardone also talks about how as kids we were born 10xing everything. They go. I literally, oh my God, Shannon. I literally just said to Ryan, we were watching some TV show, or it was like a reality show. I don't even remember what we were doing. But the kids, every time they went somewhere, they run to it. They ran. You never see a kid just like walk from room to room. They're always on like that. You're so right. They're always on like that 10x level. Yeah. And then as adults, they beat it all out of us. 100% thought about, Mariah, 100% thought about that when going for our second fun size bag of M&Ms tonight. I want the results to feel good. Biz growth, more pivot. Yes, pivot. I thought about it when we went to the movie theater. I could have gotten candy. I could have gotten popcorn. I could have been like, fuck it, I never drink soda. I want just one, or like whatever. And I didn't do it. I was like, you know what? You did enough of that Saturday. Like you're good. Move forward. And plus, here's the other thing. Accountability. I literally have been on Instagram saying, watch me get results through the holidays. I can't go out there and just keep eating cookies. Like I got to get some results. Kaylin, I had 2 people tell me they still needed to get Christmas gifts for their kids. I said this could be mama's Christmas gift. One of them got a Bar Blend challenge pack and the other is getting one tonight. And then yes, you know what? That's the thing. Bring it up as a Christmas present. I'd be like, that's great, but you know what? You need something too. If you asked for something, ask your spouse. Let's send him the link. Let's have him, purchase this for you as a customer. Or like, maybe mom and dad, or maybe like your grandparents want to like help you feel good over the holidays. Or what if you sign up as a coach with me right now and I help you make an extra money to pay back the bills after Christmas? You know what I mean? Because between Christmas and New Year's, everybody wants to get started on their health and fitness journey. Have you ever thought about doing that with me? Like, I've had a few people say to me, well, actually, yeah, I want to buy a car, so that might work. You know what I mean? Like, so it's all about, it's not pushing you guys, but it's also not just giving up the first like sign of an objection that you have. Like, this is the solution, and if you are doing it, then you truly believe that, and so that you will offer that no matter what to somebody. The fear of them saying no goes away, because if you don't ask, it's always a no. It's always a no. So with that said, the call went a little long. It went 45 minutes instead of 30. You guys get the point. Pivot. And yeah, anything before we jump off. I just put up a post I like. I just found a really good little invitation that I'm using that's different than what I typically do. And I dig it. Chicks dig it. All right. Peace, homies. Have a good night. Go get them.